Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're able to join in today. Yes, if you're new to the channel, please don't worry, just relax, chill, watch this video till the end. If you're impressed, if you like it, do all to like, do all to share, do all to subscribe. Today we're going to look at our Ghanaian authentic Kontomire-Aushie Stew. Yes, Kontomire-Aushie Stew. Some call it egusi, some call it Augushie, but then we're going to teach you how to make it right. Most people have a challenge when it comes to getting the Augushie to come out nicely. You want it to cluster nicely. Let me put it like that. Opa say egusi no, it may bobo fine. I will say yes. We Augushie for you. Enti se ende aye krado de busia Augushie for ye any year. Kontomire-Aushie for you. Please send your any years. I'm on the table. Shall we do? The year mama extra tip crack on. Yep, so today we're looking at the authentic Ghanaian Kontomire-Aushie Stew. Kontomire-Aushie for you. So what we need is some kontomire for sure, then some palm oil, then we're going to also use some Kako. You can actually use Momoni or you can use Koobi, any of your preference. Some smoked fish, anyone you want to use. You're just going to need an egg, which is optional. We're going to need some shredded onion. We're going to need some tomato puree, tomato ketchup, tomato mix. Yes, I'm using the tomato mix here. Then some red-eyed kidney beans or red kidney beans. You're also going to need some onion, some ginger, some garlic, tomatoes, and some pepper, together with some turkey berries. The turkey berries is a bit dark because I actually froze it. It was in the freezer. I kept it in the freezer. So when you keep it in the freezer, you're going to get it a bit dark. Don't be too worried. We're going to blend all the onion, ginger, garlic, pepper, turkey berries. You're going to need some salt, of course, Prekese. We're going to equally use our key ingredient here, our Augushie or egusi, which I dry milled it. Then I used the blender to add in a bit of water to get it a fine texture, because when it's like this and you mix it, you can have a bit of issue. So I added in a bit of water, a little at a time, not so much because you don't want it to be too runny. Then you blend it up to get your paste. When it comes to our ingredient options for fortification, so you're looking at red beans. Yes, you can incorporate some red beans when you're doing your kontomire stew, because red beans are great for weight loss, anti-aging, healthy skin, boost your immunity. We're saying that it's also good for diabetic patients. It lowers even your blood pressure. So when it comes to red kidney beans, they are very healthy. The kontomire leaves are leafy greens, and you know leafy greens have low calories and lots of fiber, and they contain essential vitamins like A, B, C, E, K, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. That's quite a number of things you get from your leafy greens. And when it comes to our melon seeds also boost our immunity. Yes, melon seeds also help prevent cancer. They help when you're stressed. They help with even menstrual cramps and problems. So a lot of benefits we get from this Augushie Kontomire stew. So to kick off our stew, we need to first wash our leaves, and I do it with some salt water. So you put some salt in your water, you wash it nicely. Please do well to open the leaves up and rinse every part well. Sometimes there may be insects, there may be dirt in between the leaves. If you don't open it up well, you'd have issue. And I know quite a number of people are fond of letting our market folks cut it for us before we bring it home. Some will say it's itchy, if it's itchy, please use a glove. There's plastic gloves for the kitchen. So you want to wash it thoroughly, then you cut it nicely. Please do well to desist from cutting before you wash. You waste quite a lot of the nutrients. So after washing your leaves, cutting, putting everything in order, we then move to our stew. initial preparations. We're going to heat up our pan. Our palm oil goes in, our onions go in, our Kako goes in. If you're using Momoni, it can also go in. If you're using Koobi, it can also go in. You can wait to get to a point where you add the Koobi. Then once it's stirring, we add in our blended vegetables: onion, tomato, ginger, garlic, pepper, turkey berries. Then we add in our Prekese. So once that is on fire, we're going to let it pick up by itself. Then we work on our Augushie. So because Augushie these days, it's a bit hard to form. If you don't get correct Augushie, you may need to bind it a bit. So I always add in a bit of egg and some salt. You want it to have a bit of taste. So the egg is going to help it form nicely when you are doing it with less stress. Yes, so I do that and put that aside. You can leave your stew to depend on the quantity you are doing. So when the water is draining, then you add in your tomato mix, what we like to call tin tomato. Yes, it's tomato mix. It's you can call it tomato paste. So you mix that in, you incorporate it nicely, let it go everywhere. Then as that is incorporating, we add in some salt to taste. It's to your preference. You realize the stew is not overly cooked as of now. Yes, it takes quite a long while to cook, so there are some things you don't want to overly cook them. These days you want to retain as much nutrients as possible. So once that is also cooking nicely, this is about 15 minutes into the cooking, you add in your red beans. So what I forgot to mention earlier on was that the red beans have been pre-cooked. So you just boil it with some salt till it's tender. So once that goes in, it's already cooked. So I just add in the fish in there as well. So that the stew would go into the fish proper. And the beans would also incorporate into the stew. So when you're eating it, everything feels together. You don't feel it tasting separately, and put it like that. So you can cover it for a while, then you give it a stir. Then this is the time to let your Augushie go in there. Realize our sauce is a bit thicker now. So you can pour Augushie wherever you want to pour it, at the corners, everywhere. This is one trick I like to do. I like to shake it up a bit. I don't like to stir it so much. So I just leave it to pick up for about 5 minutes. Then I place my kontomire on it, and then I cover it. Then after a while, about 2-3 minutes, I check if the kontomire is, you realize at the top, because of the heat, about 5 minutes into cooking it, the heat from the sauce softens the leaves. So once the leaves are soft enough, then I incorporate it into the whole stew. So what you don't want to do is to mix it basa or gidi. You want to take your time and then mix it in. I said what that fed for men prepare home. Kontomire for a day. You just put, it's good to use a flat wooden spoon. Don't use a ladle or something. Use a flat wooden spoon so I can easily turn it nicely. Then you cover it for about 5 minutes, and then you can come back to check it, and you'd realize your stew would have been cooked. Your Augushie, when it's cooked, you'd realize that it's well formed. And when you split it, the clumps, when you split it into two, you'd realize the inside is not raw. It's going to be cooked. So you can taste it to see if it's okay for you. Yeah, but I don't want to overly cook it. And realize that when your kontomire leaves are also ready, they soften so much. They soften very well. So this is about your Augushie kontomire for authentic. Yes, this is your real deal for ampesi, for rice, for eba, for gari, anything. Just need any carbohydrates. In fact, when you're dieting, you can just take it like that. So do well to try this recipe out. I'm so glad you're able to finish this video. I hope you did learn a lot. But then I'm going to top you up with a special tip today. So for your kontomire stew, some people may want to pre-boil the leaves before they use it. You are freely allowed to boil your leaves before you take it in there. In the video, you realize that I kind of steamed the kontomire. Let me put it like that. I didn't really boil it before. I just placed it on for the heat to make it tender. Yes, so you can try to just incorporate it in like that, or you can slightly boil the leaves, then you drain the water out, then you add the leaves in there. But please do be careful not to overly boil your kontomire leaves, because these are greens and you want to make the most nutrients out of it. So yes, you can boil your kontomire leaves before you take it in there. And you can do your augushie without adding the egg, as that would come out very nice if the augushie is correct. Unfortunately, these days a lot of adulteration, so I prefer to even get my own augushie before I blend it. Yes, but then the powders are in the market. You can find someone to trust the sauce. So I hope you give this recipe a try, and I hope to see you in my next food video. And guess what we'll be making next? You have to watch that one. I'm not going to tell you. So till I see you in the next food video, do well to live life to the fullest, do well to live healthy, to eat healthy, do well to make sure that together we make every food moment count with us. Mwah.